It's time for some levity. Gang, Jeff Stone here with day 4 of the year 2016 at magicreviewed.com. Jonathan Levitt, Ahead of the Game by Black Rabbit Series Magic. You get 2 DVDs, which are not here, but they are somewhere in my office. Anyway, so for $40, $39.99, I believe is the price on that. But don't quote me. Double check the website just to be sure. But I think it's $39.99. You get 2 DVDs, and there's about 5 or 6 tricks on there. And if you're looking for just tricks, you'll actually be happy with your purchase. But that's not what this DVD is about. This DVD is about, well, as it says, being ahead of the game. But it's even way beyond that. So let's break it down. Let's get the easy stuff out of the way. Ad copy. Go watch the ad trailer. Let's try that again. Go watch the ad trailer, and you will get a good sense of the energy and the style and the feel and everything of Jonathan Levitt and of the performances and of the content that's on the video. They did a really good job in the ad trailer. The written ad copy is, I'd say it's modest. It does a good job of explaining what you're getting without adding any hype or hyperbole or whatnot, and so on and so forth. So, go check out the ad copy. It's very good, very accurate, and it covers a lot of great detail about what you're getting on this DVD set. Let's see, what's the other easy stuff? Let's talk about methods for a minute. I'm not going to dive into the effects. I mean, you can look on the ad copy. I'll just quickly tell you, there's a 4-card revelation, there's a color-changing deck, there's an any card and any number concept, there's a triumph, and then there's a coin matrix. So those are the 5 effects, and I think that's all that's on that there, but that's his whole show. And so there's a lesson right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tricks, and that's a show. I remember my very first lecture that I did, I was thinking, I'm going to do like 30 tricks in the lecture. You can't do that. And I should have known better, because my actual show, my stand-up show, was only about 7 tricks, maybe six. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've done that show. I've retired it for the time being. Anyway, so there's a lesson right there. Less is more. Anyway, so those 4 effects, you're not going to see anything like totally revolutionary as far as method goes. They're all pretty much methods that have stood the test of time. But I'm going to point out a couple of things. On his effect called Everything Changes, it's a color-changing deck. This is one of the sneakiest, cleverest, best ways I've seen to accomplish that effect. And there's lots of little bits of business, we'll say, that really sell the original color of the deck, you know, being that it's obviously a blue deck. And then at the end, when you're done, lots of things that prove that it's a red deck. And by the way, everything is examinable at that point. It's a very good deceptive method that when the change occurs, I don't know if shock's the right word, but certainly surprise. So, the Triumph, the Triumph. Lots of people have come up with different methods and handlings and extra kickers, and not only is your card the only one that's reversed in the deck now, but the deck is in order, and the back's changed to purple, and a rabbit just flew out of my butt. Do monkeys come out of your butt or rabbits? I don't remember. Anyway, but speaking of butts, most people have not really toyed around too much with the actual presentation. And there's a reason for that. I mean, Vernon's presentation was very good. But I don't know how many people can pull off a believable story today that, the other day I was with a deck of cards and some guy took them and he mixed them up and down and this is what happened. That was my Vernon impression, which, by the way, wasn't me attempting to do Vernon, but that's as good as it's going to get. Anyway, how many people can really pull off that presentation? Jonathan Levitt has a really clever presentation and some tweaks in the handling and things, but it's a very clever is the only word I can think of. And I actually have my own handling of Triumph that's an in the hands thing, because most of the time I'm doing Triumph, I don't have a table. if I ever were going to do a table triumph, though, I would do his handling and his routine. And I want to see if I can actually incorporate his presentation into my particular handling. I don't know if it'll quite work just because of the nature of the way the routine works. But my point is, he's taken it to that proverbial next level, and he's done a good job with that. Draw a blank is his any card at any number. I hate that plot. I don't get the obsession with it. But if I were going to do it, I like the way he did it here. And again, I don't like to spend a lot of time going on and on about the effects. But this is the method that I'm actually really talking about. Because if we're talking effect, I hate that effect. Any card at any number, I hate it. But the method is very clever, and this is one of the better ways I've seen it done. And there's a lot of built-in misdirection and built-in cleverness, and there's something very unique about, well, yeah, I don't want to ruin it because it might actually tip the method. So I'm not going to tell you what he does, but he doesn't use, crap. Sorry, guys. We'll just say this. He doesn't use a normal deck of cards to do it. And I don't want to say much more than that. But what he does use is examinable, so it's not like he's got some gimmicked up deck of cards or whatever. Anyway, it's a very clever concept, and I really like the method, and it has potential for other things that I can see. So anyway, the point is the methods work. They're good. They're solid. They're the kind of thing that, you put in a little bit of practice time, and generally speaking, the skill is pretty minor. You don't need to be like some super crazy knuckle-busting magician to do some of this stuff. The coin matrix also, again, he's brought presentation to it. And typically, when I review a DVD, I don't care about effect or presentation because, you're going to put your own presentation on it, and you're going to either like the effect or not. It's more about the method. But this particular DVD, the reason I'm focusing so much on presentation is because that's kind of what the DVD is about. It's about being ahead of the game in method and in presentation. And so, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So I just wanted to make sure you understand the presentation that he brings to these 5 effects is very smart. And if nothing else, you'll learn by example how to come up with your own presentation. He talks a lot about here. So let's dive into the next part, the teaching segment. He talks a ton about, character, his own particular character that he is when he performs, and, misdirection and connecting with your audience and staying in control and loading cards and into certain places and on and on and on. There's just tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff covered beyond the secrets to the tricks. These are the real secrets, as they say. How many times can Jeff do air quotes in one episode of MagicReview.com? Anywho, so there's a ton like this. If you look at that green blurb there, that's actually a bullet point list with no line breaks of all the different little tips and tricks and techniques taught on top of the presentation, the effects that he teaches. So on and on and on, solid material. The way it was shot was very good. The lighting and everything's fine. There is that weird shot in the Magic Castle thing where it doesn't look as HD as it probably really is. I don't know what the deal is, but every time they shoot in the close-up room or something at the castle, it just doesn't. It seems like the quality could be better. It's not horrible, and it's certainly very, very good and very good enough for you to follow and see what's going on in the show and everything. And they do a good job at cutting from close-ups to wide shots and stuff. And in the explanations, they cut over to some of the performances, which is very cool because it helps drive home the point they're talking about. Further, you get 2 live shows, and you can watch them with the commentary and without the commentary. So you get some really good insight when you listen to Jonathan Levitt do commentary over it. You also get an interview with him, and Anthony Asimov interviews him. So you get a lot of great stuff there. They did 4 shows. You only see 2 of them on the video, but during the explanations, when they cut back to performance footage, some of that footage is from those other 2 shows that you don't actually get to see. So you get to see a lot of footage of him performing, and so you get to see different audience reactions, different situations, how he handles them, so on and so forth. Honestly, the only negative thing I have to say, which is something that does bug me, there's no play all button. No play all button. Sorry about the overemphasis on the t, because here in Utah, most people say button. So I am going to go with button. Anywho, there's no play all button on this, and it bugs me because after each segment, you had to go back and go back in the menu and find the one you want, the next segment. So, minor point to deal with when you consider the tons and tons and tons of great stuff that's on this video. If you're looking to learn about how to be a magic performer, a true magic performer, this is a great resource. You'll see it live in action. You'll hear it talked about in theory. You'll hear it discussed in detail as he goes over the explanations of each of the effects. So, if you're looking for just tricks, you'll be satisfied with your purchase. If you're looking to learn how to be a good performer, maybe even a great performer, you'll be ecstatic about this purchase. That's it. 5 stars. Stone status of capital G, capital E, capital M. And now it's time for you to help me out, folks. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it to everybody, comment on it, tweet it, Facebook it. I don't know what all the new stuff is. Pinterest it. Isn't there one now called Tickler or something like that? I don't know. Tickle it? I don't know. Whatever. Share it out, everybody. And while you do all that, listen to the random iTunes song of the moment, which is, oh man, yes, REO Speedwagon. Yeah, you just don't hear much about these guys anymore. I loved REO, still do, but I loved them back in the 80s, man. And I got introduced to them a little bit later in their career, and so mainly I just had the Greatest Hits album. So I don't know that I've got any of their other separate albums. But that Greatest Hits album's got some great hits on it. And this is Take It on the Run. And, man, I love that. And it reminds me of a girl I used to date. There's a lot of great, love songs on there that we were into back then. And so it takes me back to the days when I had my 1966 Mustang. And I was hanging out with this couple of girls. I'll go ahead and mention them because one of them watches the show. Angel, if you're watching, I know that you dug that this is REO Speedwagon. And then, of course, Jenny is the other one. Don't talk much about her these days, but anyway. So sorry about the trip down memory lane, folks. Thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow, day 5 of the year 2016, where we look at awesome self-working card tricks by Big Blind Media. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you then. Peace out.